What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin and Litecoin for the daily update. We are having some action here. We're going to take a look at a bearish and a bullish case scenario. The bearish only being, short-term bearish in my opinion, but we'll take a look at it, see if we got further to go or if we're topped out. Definitely stick around for the whole video. Thanks. All right, guys, as always, I want to remind you, this is not financial advice, investment advice, or trading advice. Do your own due diligence. Disclaimer scrolling on the bottom. Read it. So anyways, we are going to take a look at what's going on. Don't forget to hit the likes and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'm curious to find out what you think, if we're going higher or we are going to correct here before going higher. So got a few different things to look at, too, on the breakouts. A lot of people are saying we broke through the downward channel, which is possible, but I'm going to show you another view of that where we may not have. So definitely we'll check it out here in a minute. I do want to look at the fear and greed index. We are up 7 points from yesterday at 56. Yesterday we were at 49. So people are getting a little more comfortable in the market. Good sign there may be a correction. Let's look at the longs versus short on Bitfinex, BitMEX, and Binance total. Longs are 68.31%, shorts are 31.69%. The longs have dropped a little bit on Bitfinex, still high as heck, 87%. Let's look at the monthly. Now this, looking at it like this, off of these two wicks up here, looks like we've broken out, which we may have. But if I move this, and if we look at it in the weekly and the daily, it gives us a different story too. But if I move this down and go off of these two top wicks up top, we have not broke it yet. That would be around the $92 to $9,300 range. If that's the case, I do like to be strict on my wicks, so that's about where I would definitely consider a breakout of here, if we haven't already, and we may have. Our EMAs are looking nice. We're definitely above all the EMAs right now. Let's get into the weekly. See, on the weekly, if I draw the top off of these two wicks, we have broken out, and we'll take a look at it here in a minute. But the EMAs, yesterday, if you watched the video, I said they were turning up, looking strong. We did get support and a bounce off the 8 EMA here on the weekly. It is looking pretty good, guys. We still have the lower targets that are possible down here, but it's looking less and less likely. But as you can see, we're still in declining volume here, so we really haven't had total breakout volume yet. We'll see what happens today and this week. That is the weekly. So let's look at real quick, take a look at the weekly RSI. We had capitulated back here. You can't see it because the data is not in here. Came back above this. This red line is support and resistance. Came back above it in 2015. Came back down, tested for support in 2015, and continued on with the bull run up till 2017. Then back in 2018, we capitulated underneath that support again, popped back above it, came back, retested it, and it is looking good. And on the weekly here, we had been talking about this. If we closed above this, it'd be bullish, which it did, and which it is. Let's I'm going to try to make this quick as possible, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. I do daily updates every single day. Hit the like button. Leave your comments down below. That'll also get you entered to win a free t-shirt. I do that every Sunday. Yeah, don't forget to do that. But let's look at my targets here and what I do think is possibly going on. I do think we are about ready for a correction, seeing the top of this trend line in this rising wedge. But we're going to take a look at all these targets real quick. I'm going to zip through them. First off, I had the $9,000 target, and that is the measurement of this. I don't know if you guys can see it. First, we'll take a look at the EMAs, and let me get them out of our way here. So the EMAs are turning up. The 8 is looking across the 200, guys. That's pretty damn bullish. So if we do break this line, I do have a much higher target. Let's take a look at this first. Let me get this. Let me get the EMAs off here. And this may happen before I get this video out. So if we do a measure move of this falling channel that we broke out of here, put it up to the top where we broke out, that gets us around that $9,000, $9,100 range, which would break this channel, so we may get some sideways momentum before we come up here, but we could be correcting pretty quickly here. I do want to show you another possibility. If we do break this rising broadening wedge, which usually they break down, but if we do break up to the top, going to be looking at around the 10, actually, yeah, around 10.4, 10.2. I do have daily or 4-hour targets too. We're going to look at here in a minute, but that's what I'm looking at here, guys. We were expecting to possibly get a retracement here and come back down to the 75 to 7,200. That's still possible. Maybe even come back down here and test the 77. But let's look at the more immediate time frames and see what's going on. We'll take a look first at the RSI. And as you can see, we had this red long-term falling channel that we broke out of over here. Now we're in this rising white channel. And as you can see right now, we are getting resistance at the top of this channel. If that breaks through, guys, that would probably be these higher targets that I'm talking about. So keep an eye on that on your daily. Again, this is the daily, so we could wick above it and still come back down below it. Keep that in mind. Let's look at the 4-hour now. 4-hour RSAs are kicking up. We're above all of them right here, getting nice. As you can see, my targets yesterday hit. That was the 85.29. We hit it. Looks like we are getting, you know, some support and resistance in here. We're getting some definitely trading volume right in that 85.29. My next target was the 8,900. And let's take a look at the next target. If we looked at this as a rising channel here, which we only have one touch, so I'm not so sure I like that. But anyway, we would look at that. If we broke out here, it would be around that 10,200. Now, if let me get the RSI out of the way for a minute. Now, if I take a measured move from this, looking at it as a inverse head and shoulders, this being, I'll draw it out for you, this being the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and if we do break this line, that gives me that target of the 10.2 area, and measuring from the neckline down to the tip of the head, bring it up to, if we were to break out here, guys, that lines up with the other measurement also, right around that 10.2 range. Actually, it's going to be more around, yeah, 10.1, 10.2, right in that range. Again, guys, these targets aren't exact. They give us an idea, and if you are trading, to actually catch the absolute top and bottoms near impossible anyways. So anyway, these give us a rough estimate. If we do break this, I am looking to short the next time we touch this trend line with a real type stop loss. If I get stopped out, obviously it'll be continuing up. If we do break this, like I said, I'm looking for around that $10,000 range. Definitely possible. Now, the other way to look at this is if we do get that rejection here, it's probably going to be around 88 unless we trade sideways here for a while before we come up. But whenever we touch this trend line, if we came up on this 4-hour candle here, which is almost over, it's going to be around the 8,800 to 8,850 range. And if we do get a rejection, this could be a rising wedge here, and a measured move of that rising wedge. If we broke, actually I should go off of this wick here, but I'm just going to go off of here for now. And again, I do daily updates, try to keep you guys updated. Let's say we broke down past here. If we come back down to retest this top of this breakout here, which is the long-term downwards trend that we have broken out if we're looking at it in the 4 hours. So it's kind of mixed signals. Like I said, when you look at the monthly, depending on how you put the wicks, but most every other time frame is showing we broke out. But if we did come back down to test this around the 8,300 and that broke, then my target is going to be, actually, I'm going to leave this at the 72 or 7,225. That's the 0.618. So let's put another target right here. And that would be if we broke down out of this falling or rising wedge that you see here. Let's put a target in there. That's the rising wedge target. Let me shrink that down a little bit. And we'll put in our target. about here. So that's the measured move if we drop out of this falling wedge, which would be around the 8,300. Also remember, we have this heavy support, which is the neckline from this over here, which also gave me the measured move. Actually, that wasn't it. Where's it at? Did I lose it? I lost it. Let me make another one real quick. So if we did a measured move from that neckline right here all the way down to the tip to where we broke out, that gets us to that 8,900 range. So I'm looking between the 8,000 to 8,900 for us to touch the top here, and then I'll be looking to short again with a tight stop loss, because if it does, if I do short it and then it comes up and breaks through, then I am looking at the higher targets, and that will stop me out and I can get in along. So that's my plan. Make your own plan. Don't go off of what I'm saying, obviously. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at, guys. For Bitcoin, let's look at the RSI. So in the RSI, we've been watching this rising channel. And as you can see, I had these falling wedges drawn in here, and we broke out of this one, came back down, tested it for support, and I have rising channel here, which we've actually broken out of the rising channel now. If we come up and test the top of this, that could be right in the, well, it's hard to tell on the RSI, but that could get us all the way up to our $10,000 target up here if we continue all the way up. But let's see what happens there. Like I said, unless we break this trend line here, if you are trading or charting, definitely get this line in here off of these wicks. We've had 4 touches across here. I am looking for another touch here for a short position. Like I said, I will put a stop loss just above it. So if I go short and it turns around, goes up, then I will get into a long position there. Let's look at Litecoin. Our targets had hit on Litecoin. Remember I said if we were able to keep support at 49.50, which we did, we dropped a little below it, around 49. But we did keep support there and continue up. The measured move of this is right around the $63 range. But we did have this target here, which we stopped. And as you can see, when I put those targets in, they're significant because you can see a lot of action in there. But my next target is the 5,900, and that is looking at this as a flag pull, this being a bull flag. And we hit that target there. That's around 56. I never put an actual target in, but that we did look at that yesterday in yesterday's video if you want to go back and check it out. Let's see. I had some other target ranges in here, and I'm trying to remember where I got them, so bear with me for a second. Okay, this one here is looking at this as a rising wedge, and let me get the EMAs out of the way. As you can see, the EMAs are bullish as hell. Let's get these all out of our way and try to clean the chart up just a little bit, guys. Go ahead and get the I'll go ahead and get the volume out of the way too, just to crisp up the chart a little bit. But if we look at this here as a rising wedge, from the top being these touches, the bottom being these, and we measure the distance from there and where we broke out, that actually gets us up higher than that 63 target. That gets us up to, get a label, right around that 65.32, which would match up with this old resistance over here. So that is what I'm looking at right now, guys. And remember, the target just below that 6,300, and that's measured move off of this neckline that we did get support off of. So that's what I'm looking at here. Let's look at the RSI. As you can see, the RSI, we have a little more room to come up and touch this resistance line here. And then most likely we'll come back down and we could test for support here and get another leg up inside here. If this breaks, then I would see a correction maybe back down to the $49 level. If not, come back and retest the top of this. Depending on how high we go, we might just come test the top of this rising wedge here, which might, depending on where it hit, could be, you know, anywhere from 54 to 55 bucks, depending on how high we go. So keep an eye on that, guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Definitely don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking the CryptoSavy logo by my head. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes, guys, and check out the links down below. All of them help support the channel. If you can use them, great. If you can't, that's okay too. But I do appreciate you stopping by, and have a great day.